Here's how I got 18 job offers in 2 days. First off, on Friday, last Friday, I applied to about 30 different jobs. I think it was like 28 jobs. I knew exactly what I was looking for, which was high ticket closing. So I applied to about 28 jobs. And I gave a pretty generic example, pretty generic description of my work experience. But then on the headline, what I put was, I'll work for 2 weeks for free. You don't have to pay me anything. You don't have to commit to hiring me. And the reason I say that, I know that most people aren't going to take me up on that. I know that almost no one is. But what that does is it shows that I'm willing to back up and prove my work ethic and my drive and my capabilities through action, so that they can actually see how I work instead of just reading words on a page or hearing whatever I say during an interview. That seemingly works well. There's probably better advice out there, but this is what I did just to do something, and it worked amazingly well because I already have over a dozen job opportunities available to me in only 2 days. So I'd recommend saying something along those lines, and then follow that up by explaining that the reason that you would do that is because you want to show them, you're a man of your actions, and you want to show them that you're coachable and driven instead of just saying some words on a resume, right? That makes you stand out. And then also, I think the idea behind me saying it is that it builds intrigue, so that way they'll more likely to talk to you in an interview, and you can kind of show them some of that. I forgot my next bullet point. And then, so follow it up with a quick rundown of your most relevant work experience. I think I already said, make kind of just like a generic overall, all your work experience, write it out. It doesn't need to be anything special. And then on the headline, right after you said you work 2 weeks for free and that you don't believe a resume can accurately convey who you are, you basically, you give a quick, very quick, straight to the point rundown of exactly what your most relevant work experience is. And that work experience, hopefully, is something that relates to the position that you're getting into a little bit. Setting and going door to door, setting appointments, it doesn't really correlate that much to closing deals as far as I'm aware, as far as I know. But it shows that I can handle the rejection. It shows that I'm resilient and have that grit. And then I understand some of the sales process. And so I just say that. It also helps that I was going door to door with one of the top, if not the absolute top producing solar teams in the world. Even though my numbers were not as high as theirs, the reason that they kept me around was because of my drive, my work ethic, my attitude, and my coachability. They saw potential in me. So that's what I write in my resume. If you don't have that, if you don't have something that good, then just write something relevant. It really doesn't matter that much. And then finally, well, I guess I already said it. There may be better advice out there. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But all I'm saying is that this really worked for me, so I wanted to share it. Because I applied to 30 jobs or 28, whatever it was, on Friday. Over the weekend, I didn't apply to anything, didn't hear anything back because it was the weekend. And then Monday, had a couple interviews, scheduled a bunch. Tuesday, I scheduled a bunch of interviews and had a few more. And now today, I've had a bunch of interviews. The scheduling is mostly done because I'm just not taking their calls anymore. I already have enough options at this point. I just got out of an interview, hence why I'm wearing the suit. And I've got another interview to go to right after this video by the end of this week. I'll have made my decision from a very plentiful availability of choices, availability of jobs that I didn't even think that I was qualified enough to get. So that's the other final point that I was going to say, was even if you feel like you're not qualified to get it, just do it anyway. Just throw it out there, just try, because you miss all the shots that you don't take. So shoot for the stars. Maybe you'll hit the moon. Maybe you'll hit almost all the stars you shoot for, like in this exact situation for me. But that might have also just been because I was underestimating myself. I don't know. But hopefully that's useful to somebody out there who's looking for a job, and maybe you can at least take a couple snippets of that, and hopefully that'll increase your success. I really think that if you're going to do anything, make sure that you include in the headline your work for 2 weeks for free, and say that the resume does not accurately convey your drive and work ethic and coachability. Because ultimately most jobs, at least at the level that I'm looking at, most jobs are looking for somebody who can show up and give their best every day on time and are coachable and willing to learn. So again, hopefully that helps someone.